It's time to swim free. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are back with Free. It's been a long time, and you guys won't have seen it yet, but I actually recorded the movie Take Your Marks yesterday. That will be uploaded on Saturday as part of our normal weekly movie schedule. So if you want to wait until you can watch my reaction to the movie, that's perfectly understandable, perfectly reasonable. Like I said, that will be out on Saturday. So you'll be able to watch it then. If you want to wait to watch this until then, that's fine. But for all of you who are either watching at that point or watching right away, let's get this going. So Free, it has been a couple years. 2021 is when we finished season 2, and just due to various reasons, we haven't been able to get back to season 3 until now. But we are finally back because Dice has turned this into a donation reward. Dice chose to use a donation reward in order to get me to come back to this, and so that honestly, let's be fair here, has gotten me to come back to it a lot quicker than I probably would have otherwise. And I planned on coming back to it soonish anyway, like early this year. I just, got back to it probably a little sooner than I would have if it hadn't been a reward. So, either way, we're back. So yeah, like I said, I reacted to the movie, and I have issues with the way that the movie was formatted, with it being segmented in the way that it was. I feel like it was poorly handled and hurt the overall feeling of it as a movie. It felt more like a series of OVAs than anything. It didn't actually feel like a film. And that was my biggest issue with it. The stories that they told, though, were pretty good, and was definitely meant to bridge the gap between the seasons. We see how each of the characters are going about their futures, just planning things out for what's to come. Now, the one thing that we didn't really get closure on in the movie was Nagisa and Rei's movie. They created this film in order to recruit more members to the club with the coming year. We didn't see the payoff to that. We saw like bits of the film, but we didn't see like them showing it to the school, and we didn't see like if it works or not. So that's definitely going to be part of this season, I would presume. I'm interested to meet some new characters too, some new members of the swim club. So that's going to be interesting. Meanwhile, we have Makoto and Haru having prepared for graduation and everything. Though technically, during the movie, the school year was still going. They are about to leave, and they are about to start college and everything. So we got to see them searching for a place for Haru to live. We saw them just kind of vibing around, preparing for the future. So now we get to see like how that comes into play, especially in terms of the storytelling, because obviously they're going to remain major characters, but I'm thinking they might not be as big as they were in the previous seasons. They might be cut back a little to focus more on the new members of the club, while they take more of a supporting role, I would say. They're still going to be in it, and it's still going to showcase what they're doing in the meantime, but I don't think they're going to be as big. I think we're going to get a much bigger focus on Rei and Nagisa, as well as, again, the new club members in this season, which I think is the right thing to do. Again, not abandoning Makoto and Haru completely, just not having them be the focus anymore. And I feel it's going to be the same thing for Rin in the Sumezuka side. I believe that Rin isn't going to be as big of a focus, but instead we're going to focus on the others in the Sumezuka team. And we're going to see how they're progressing and everything. Which again, I like, because we spent 2 seasons, we have a movie and everything, we have a special that we reacted to, all of this content with these characters. It's like, now that they're graduating, it makes sense to dial back their roles a little bit. And that's not a bad thing. It allows other characters to shine in ways they've yet to do so, and allows new characters to come in. We also have this one character from the movie who apparently is a friend of Haru and Makoto's, and I think Rin's as well, when they were kids. And he's definitely going to be coming back into the picture. So he'll be in storylines with Makoto and Haru and all them. Now, I don't know what else to expect with this season. I don't know what we're going to get into. But I'm definitely interested to see. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, before anything, there will probably be, like, maybe 2 breaks during the course of this reaction series. In which case, it'll more than likely just be like, oh, I take a break, I watch something else, come back to this right away. Something like that. But the reason for this is really simple. It's just because of the length of the series. I want to handle this in a way that doesn't make it lose its traction with me. Let's put it that way. I don't want to end up becoming apathetic towards the series, and with a series like this, I feel like I need to take breaks during it, because if I don't, I feel like this is the type of series that I could grow more apathetic towards more easily. So I'm going to just play it safe and just say right off the bat, there will be probably 2, I would say, breaks. So we'll be doing this in like 3 different goes. 3 different runs. But they're going to be like basically back to back. It's just, again, we're going to have like a break to watch something else, refresh ourselves, and come back ready to go again. As for when those breaks will be, I have no idea. We're going to kind of play that by ear. Basically, whenever I feel like I need to take the breaks, or if it's like a good point in the series where like something just like finishes up and I can feel comfortable doing so. So, that all being said, we're going to get into this and see what this first episode has in store for us. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. Oh, excuse me. So, all of that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I don't know if I'm in the minority here, but I feel like I probably am going to be. I don't like that the main focus still seems to be on Haru and Makoto. I like I said, I understand that Haru is the main character and that Makoto is kind of the deuteragonist of it all, the secondary main character. I understand that. They have been since the beginning, but I feel like it would have been better if this truly was a passing of the torch moment with this final season, because that's what it came across as, that we were going to focus more on Nagisa and Rei's side of things and the club, and less on Haru and Makoto's side of things. Like, Haru and Makoto would be the B plot to the A plot of the club. That's what it felt like it was going to do. And I understand that the title of the series is in reference to Haru. I get that. But at the same time, again, it felt like that's where it was going. It felt like that's the route it was taking. And I really appreciated that, because not every show has the balls to switch up the main focus partway through. It's actually really rare. Most of the time, you just stick with the same main character the entire time, and for a lot of shows, that's a good thing. But a series like this, I feel like the passing of the torch would have been such a brilliant move that would have elevated this series a lot for me. And I'm not saying that you have to take out Haru and Makoto completely. No, you definitely shouldn't. But they should have been moved into the B plot. And based on the opening as well as this first episode, it seems pretty clear to me that that's not going to be the case. In fact, it actually seems pretty clear that Rei and Nagisa's side of things with the club are going to actually take even less of a focus than they would have had otherwise. I feel like it's going to focus almost entirely on Haru and Makoto's side of things, with now these new characters. They're new characters, but old friends for Haru and everything. With them coming back, it's definitely going to focus on that more than anything, and I'm really disappointed. It feels like wasted opportunity and just fear of doing anything new, fear of, changing the status quo. And I don't know if it was done this way because, like, the creators were afraid that the fans would rebel against them if they changed things up. That the fans would be like, oh, you can't, like, change the focus here. You have to focus on Haru and Makoto. I don't know if that's what the fear was or whatnot. I could see that. But at the same time, again, I just feel like it felt like the series was going in that direction. And so to stay stuck to the status quo feels unnatural to what the series, and especially even with the movie, felt like they were trying to accomplish. The movie especially felt like it was a changing of the guard. And so the fact that it's not actually makes me less of a fan of the movie, honestly. Because again, that's what it felt like it was doing, and if it's not, the vibes of the film are off. And it's trying to tell you something that is not actually happening, and that sucks. And I'm not saying this is going to be bad because of this by any means. I'm not trying to say that here. I'm just trying to get across. Excuse me. I'm just trying to get across that it's disappointing, because it seems to be going against what they were hyping up, and it just feels like, again, a wasted opportunity. So this episode, let's actually talk about what happened briefly. There's not too much to discuss here. It was mostly just reintroductions. showcasing that Haru and Makoto are now in college. They're starting things up with the swim club there, and they're meeting old friends of theirs who they haven't swam with for a while. We see what Reen is up to in Australia. Um, we see what Ray and Nagisa are up to with the new club members, though I am even more disappointed by the fact that we just like are here with the new club members. We didn't even get to see like the presentation with them trying to recruit. That is such a wasted opportunity. It's so just unfortunate. Because again, like that was built up throughout the entire movie, and then they like just don't drop it in the film. So I'm thinking like, oh, well that means they have to be dropping it at the beginning of this season. No, apparently not. Maybe they'll show it in a flashback, but that's about the best we can hope for now. And that's really sad because it's like they built that up. I wanted to see how people reacted to it. That was kind of the big thing, and now we're just not going to see it probably. Again, except through maybe like a short flashback that's probably not going to show everything we wanted to see. Now, we also find out that Ikuya, the edgy friend who they haven't reunited with yet, has been utilizing the same freestyle that Haru uses. And it's kind of guessed by Ray that he might have, fallen in love with Haru's freestyle and decided to take it on as his own as well. So I guess we'll find out. But we also have Ikuya's coach, friend, honestly feels more like a lover, hyping him up, saying that Haru and the other friend feel like a cheap copy, basically. Even though, again, based on the information we heard, Ikuya would be the cheap copy. Well, maybe not cheap copy, but he would be the copy since he took Haru's style. But seriously, this guy, like, the way he hypes up Ikuya, the way he's, like, so supportive of him, very much comes across as more than just, like, a friend. It's, like, super gay, and I mean that in, like, a positive manner, of course. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of queer subtext in this series. A lot of it. It's not subtle with that. But it's even less subtle with this guy. And not even Ikuya, but specifically his friend or whatever here. Like, the way he hypes him up, the way he, like, supports him is really nice. But it also, again, feels more like the way a lover would support, rather than like a best friend or something. It's very intimate. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, will they actually do something canon with a queer relationship here? I'd be all game for that. But it's like I'm kind of questioning it. Like, I'm kind of thinking they probably won't, but at the same time, it's like, how can you read that as anything else? The only thing I could think of if they don't put that in there canonically is that they were like told they weren't allowed or just weren't able to get that in there for whatever reason, censorships or whatnot, I don't know. But again, this series already has a lot of queer subtext, so it's like I feel like you could have just done what you've always been doing instead of like making it so blatant. So it feels like it's definitely something more. Um, so now we see at the end that Haru spots him and we're gonna, I guess, see how that goes next time. Ikia, though, is definitely an edgy boy. We can definitely tell that right now. He's not going to want to rekindle this friendship. I think it's pretty clear that he holds some kind of grudge against Haru. Um, he might even hold a grudge against Asahi for leaving the way he did. He probably even Makoto. He probably just holds a grudge against all of them. He seems very edgy, very like aggressively um emotional, to put it nicely. We'll see how that goes down though. But yeah, like I said, my biggest issue here is that they seem to promise that they were going to be switching like perspectives and all, and now it seems like they're not going to be doing that. It's it's really disappointing, and I feel like I feel gypped because again, it felt like that's exactly what they were working towards. That is the vibes and everything that they were building up for us, and now they're just not capitalizing on it. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. Like a lot of other people probably prefer it this way, but I I don't. And I'm not going to lie about that. But we'll see how things go down. Um, the last thing I want to mention, the new club members at Iwatobi. We when they were getting the swimsuit photo, one of them was not in a swimsuit, but was wearing like the tracksuit like Go. Are they gonna be like a coach like Go is? Um, because it's like definitely possible to have multiple coaches. Um, I'm just wondering if that is the intent. Because if I'm being completely honest here, and I don't want to sound rude or anything, but just to be completely open and honest, I could not tell what gender they are. Like they are super androgynous. Um, and I know like in real life I wouldn't say quite that because it's rude and everything, but with like anime and everything, I'm not as like worried about it because they're not real people. Um, but it's like this character is super fucking androgynous, and I don't know if like they're supposed to be a girl based on the fact that they are a coach. Is that the idea it's going for, or like are we supposed to know they're a girl because of the entire line of questioning with Go and everything, like, oh, what kind of muscle is your favorite? And they're like, oh, I don't really like muscles. I actually prefer a little bit of weight on them. And it's like, Go's like gasp. This is clearly not the place for you then. um, but that's completely fair, by the way. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, with having that type and all. But on top of it, you also just take into account um I just don't know, I just don't know. It's like they're very androgynous. um and for now I'm thinking I'm just gonna go with that. Just probably say they them until like anything is confirmed one way or the other. um I wonder if there's some kind of rule, by the way, like do all the swimmers, like by regulation and everything, have to be male? I actually don't know like what the rules for that would be. Um, like because for the swim club, you would think it's like a school swim club. You would think it would be okay, um, to have like women swimming along with the guys and all. But at the same time, it's like maybe for competition level stuff, which is what they aim for. Maybe that's not allowed. Maybe mixed swimming isn't allowed for competitions for some reason. I think it's stupid. It's just it's as stupid as like not allowing any sports to be mixed like that. It's they have all these excuses for it. I'm not going to get into all of that shit now, but the excuses very rarely actually hold any water, pun intended. And I just feel like they're flimsy at best. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how all of that goes down with the club, and I guess the stuff with Ikuya. But let's just take it as it goes. So tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this first episode of Free Season 3? Which, by the way, is Dive to the Future. I haven't mentioned that until now. The subtitle of the series is Dive to the Future. Let me know your thoughts down below. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.